Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Kayla and I maintain a backyard garden at my home in North Texas. Today I'm doing some work on my drip irrigation system, starting by replacing my previous garden timer with a smart water timer from Orbit, specifically the Generation 2 Beehive Smart Hose Watering Timer. This will allow me to control my drip irrigation system from my phone rather than having to go outside and adjust the manual system. So the first thing I needed to do was remove the old timer. Then when I was screwing in the new timer, it wasn't quite connecting correctly, and after some inspection I realized that the piece below it had cracked, so that had to be removed as well. Then when I tried to replace the timer, it was now too short and I couldn't reach the hose splitter, so I ended up buying a hose extension in order to make up for the lost length, which worked great except it was now too long and created a kink in the drip tubing. So in order to shorten the drip tubing and remove the kink, I cut a portion of the tubing out and used a straight connector with some ring clamps in order to secure the two ends together. Once that was done, I turned on the water and watched for any leaks. So this was a little more complicated than I was expecting, but it all worked out.
All right, good morning. It is Saturday. I've had the drip irrigation set up for about a week now and it's been running really well, and I can control it from my phone, which is really nice. We're supposed to get some rain this week. We'll see if that actually happens, but if we do, I can, put a rain delay on my phone and not have to go out and actually manually adjust it. So that's really nice. But I have some parts of the garden that still aren't connected to the drip irrigation system, like these 4 fabric pots right here. So today I'm going to try to get that all set up. I wasn't sure if these were going to be permanently here, but I do like them here. I probably won't plant large things like this eggplant in these. I'll probably do things like flowers, or maybe something that can climb along the trellis. Because it does, obviously take up a large part of the walkway. But yeah, I think I want these pots to stay here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the drip system set up on these this morning. And then we'll see if there's any other little things I need to do. I need to deadhead some flowers, and probably fertilize. I haven't fertilized these eggplants in a while and they're starting to look like they need it. So yeah, I'll show you how I'm doing that, and we'll see what else needs to be done today. Okay, so here are the fabric pots that I want to set up. I actually also need to set up this plastic pot. So the existing line that I'm going to tap into is down there. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the tube that runs, actually runs down under the ground here and then up and around back there. But that's what I'm going to need to access in order to get my 1/4-inch line into there and to run some new lines out over this way. So yeah, I'll move this fig tree and then I'll show you what I'm doing in there. Okay, so actually in the process of moving this fig tree, oh gosh, bug, I realized there were roots that are growing, I don't know if you can see, out of the fabric pot and into the ground, which is not really what I want. I don't want an in-ground fig tree. So I think that's a sign that I actually need to repot this in a larger pot and also a non-fabric pot so that it's not growing into the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the drip line from this pot and put it back in this large green pot. That's actually where it originally was. And then instead of running a new line into the large drip line down there, the 1/2-inch drip line, I'm just going to extend this one so that it just runs up and around the corner there. So yeah, I'll go ahead and take this out. All right, so this is the connection point that runs from the 1/2-inch tubing up here and then makes a T, and then this drip line goes into this pot over here with the zinnias, and then this one runs this way into this pot. But I need to extend it to go to all the pots. So what I'm going to do is attempt to take this off. It gets kind of difficult once it's been on there a while. Holy moly. All right, give me give me 1 second and I'll get this off. Okay, got it. So now I'm going to take this drip tubing. The emitter tubing is brown. It's got, of course, the emitters on it that actually drip the water out. And then this just runs water without dripping out. So I just need a short piece here in order to run this behind this pot, and then I'll tee off of it and run drip tubing into the pot. So I'll show you that in just a second. All right, so this is going to go back behind here. Okay, so this is the piece that we just connected, and basically I've got these T connectors, and we're going to put this side in here. We'll run additional drip line without the emitters out this way to go to the other pots, and then this one will have the drip emitters coming off of it and into this pot. So that way I can chain more pots together and then have the drip emitters going into each pot. So this is my drip tubing, the brown tubing. I usually try to make sure there's like 4 emitters per pot. So that's what these are. The water will come out of here. So I'm just going to cut a piece with 4 on it, and then we'll get that connected. If you're having time or a hard time getting your tubing onto these connectors like I am, you can leave your tubing out in the sun for a little bit, and that makes it a little bit easier to work with. I don't have time to do that, so I'm just gonna have to try really hard. My hands have so much sunscreen on them that it's very slippery. All right, I changed my mind. I'm gonna leave this out in the sun for a while because this is taking forever. And I'll come back in a bit and we'll finish this later. Okay, it is actually the next day. I needed to help my husband with some work in the front yard yesterday, so I had to abandon this project, but I'm still having a really hard time getting the drip line on this morning, so I'm attempting to heat the end of the line in some really, really hot water and see if that will help me get it on. I've also got this like, what is this called? Can opener, bottle jar opener thing. That's also going to help me get a better grip on the end of the drip line. So we're going to see if that works. I'm going to let that sit for a couple more seconds. Unfortunately, if we look over here, this is my fig tree this morning. So one of the roots that was going into the ground had to be one of the main roots of the tree. So when I moved the pot and that broke, I think it killed it. So I'll probably just leave it and see if it bounces back. I highly doubt that it will, but I don't have anything else to go in the pot at the moment, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. But yeah, so that's something you'll want to keep an eye on if you're using fabric pots. So yeah, hopefully this is gonna work, because I've been trying for like 10 minutes this morning and can't get it on. So yeah, let's see. Okay, that worked. So yeah, if you're having a hard time getting your line on, try some boiling water. But now that is on, so I'm going to run more of this black tubing, which does not have these emitters, out of this side and over to these fabric pots over here. All right, so I've made basically this chain of black tubing using all of these T connectors that I'm now going to run back here to each one of these pots, and then off of this point of the T connector for each of them, I'll be, oh goodness, focus. I'll be attaching the emitter tubing. So yeah, I'll show you that next. It's much easier to do if you don't already have plants in these pots. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then I haven't attached a T connector to this end because I don't have another pot that I'm running it off to, so I'll actually use a straight connector for this and just attach it to drip tubing to go into this pot. So now I need to get the drip tubing. Okay, so this is the end of the black drip tubing, and then this is my last pot that I need to put drip tubing in. So instead of using a T, I'm going to use a straight connector because there's not another pot that I need to connect to this chain. So this is just going to be straight in and then drip tubing coming off of here. And then I went ahead and put a demi connector on the end of this drip line because obviously you don't want water running out of the end of the tubing. So these are basically just connectors that have a block at the end of them. So yeah, I'm gonna put these on the rest of the tubing, and then we will go ahead and run this and see if we're ready to go. I didn't realize I was out of the dummy plugs, these ones. So I do have these little drip emitters that I can basically just close off all the way. So I put those on the end of each of these, and they should essentially function the same way. So I'll use those until I can go to the store and get some more dummy plugs, but I'll just replace those when I get those, but this will work for now. All right, I just started running the drip system, so now I just need to make sure I see water dripping out of each of the emitter tubing that I put in. Good. All right, good to go on those two. Sneak around to this side. Good on that one. Good here. And we're good here. Awesome. And let me see. Yeah, no water coming out of the end. So that's good to go. So yeah, that is the setup. So now each of these pots will have water going to it. The soil level is low in all of them, so I'll need to refill those before I plant anything. And then I'm also going to give the tubing a chance to relax a little bit from being coiled up so I can better stake it in each of the pots. But yeah, those are connected now. All right, I came over here to check the tubing in this pot, and it is dripping, so I don't know what happened to this zinnia. Maybe it just got, I don't know. It should have been able to handle the heat, but maybe it wasn't acclimated to the sun well enough before I planted it. I don't think it's dead. I think it might come back. We're gonna have a few rainy days this week, which is gonna be really nice. So maybe it will bounce back, but yeah, it's looking pretty rough at the moment. Back here is the okra bed, and this is the okra that I actually chopped down, and I have all of this new growth coming off of it. So it was definitely a good decision to leave that in the ground. I think this will continue to grow throughout the fall, and I'll have a brand new okra plant. And this one over here is actually sprouting as well, which is good because I don't see germination from any of the seeds that I planted. So yeah, I'll leave this one alone as well, and hopefully that will take off. And then I do have a sprout over here. I forget what this was though. So I'll have to go back and see what I planted here. I think it might have been a winter squash, but I'll have to double check. And then these cucumbers are also bouncing back, so I might leave those. I might take out this one or this one and let this grow in place, but I'll have to see. Over here, the zinnias that I planted are sprouting, and then I think there's one or two over on this side as well. And then over here, I've got some squash coming up, so that is exciting. Over here is the okra bed, or not the okra, eggplant. That is eggplant. And this is the sweet meat squash. So this is a really large pumpkin that I planted. This one sprouted over here. The one that I planted over there did not. I might go ahead and plant another one just in case this one ends up dying. But yeah, I should really only need one in this bed. But yeah, for now, this is doing well. And then I need to pick some more eggplant. There's a few hiding in here. And then, like I said, we're gonna get some rain this week. So now is a really good time to fertilize everything. So I think I'm gonna go through and put some fertilizer throughout the garden just so everything is well fed and ready for the fall. I think that's about it for today. I'm looking forward to the rain and cooler temperatures this week, so hopefully the garden will benefit from that. But yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.